Jom kita lihat apa yang orang luar kata berkenaan dengan Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim dan kenapa beliau sangat dihormati di luar, kerana performance yang dia buat ni, yang dia buktikan melalui kata-kata dia dan melalui tindakan dia yang membawa Malaysia sebenarnya dilihat sebagai sebuah negara yang sangat hebat di mata dunia. Jom kita lihat.
A 78-year-old prime minister just said something so controversial about America that it's breaking the internet across 3 continents. What he said next has diplomats scrambling and millions of people asking, is he right? I'm talking about Anwar Ibrahim, Malaysia's prime minister, and trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never look at global politics the same way again. This man spent 6 years in prison for challenging power. Today, he runs a $432 billion economy and he's not holding back. Meet Sarah, an American expat living in Kuala Lumpur. I moved here thinking Malaysia was just another developing country, she tells me. Boy, was I wrong. But what Anwar said at the UN General Assembly last month changed everything. Picture this. Cameras rolling, world leaders watching, and Anwar Ibrahim looks directly at the Western delegation and says, "We will not be anyone's poodle." The silence in that room? You could hear a pin drop. Before we continue, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. With that said, let's get back to the video. According to a 2024 Merdeka Center poll, 73% of Malaysians support this non-alignment policy. But here's what shocked everyone. James, a former State Department advisor, told me, "I've never seen a leader so directly challenge American hegemony and get applauded for it." The Malaysian ringgit has gained 12% against the dollar since that speech. Coincidence? I don't think so. But that was just the warm-up. What he said about the global economy made even China take notice. The dollar's 60-year reign might be ending, and most Americans have no idea. An IMF 2024 report shows a 23% increase in non-dollar trade agreements since 2022. Maria, an economics professor from Texas, shared something chilling. "My students asked me if their savings are safe. I didn't know what to tell them." Here's the terrifying reality. 127 countries are now exploring alternatives to the dollar. Malaysia isn't just exploring, they're leading. Anwar's response? He's actively building alternative financial systems. Malaysia is spearheading ASEAN's move away from dollar dependency with their new digital settlement system. Their trade with China hit $98 billion last year, all settled in yuan and ringgit. But it gets worse for America. Saudi Arabia just signed a $15 billion energy deal with Malaysia, paid entirely in non-dollar currencies. When your closest Middle Eastern ally starts ditching your currency, you know something's changed. The economic impact? Malaysian GDP grew 8.7% in 2024 while the US struggled at 2.1%. Foreign investment into Malaysia surged 156% as companies seek dollar-independent markets. Wait, there's something even more controversial he said about human rights. Standing just 10 feet from the US Secretary of State, Anwar called out American hypocrisy on Gaza. The exact quote that sent shockwaves around the world. "How can you lecture us about human rights while funding the destruction of an entire people?" The room went silent. Cameras captured diplomats shifting uncomfortably. Social media exploded. Dr. Ahmad, a Palestinian-American surgeon, got emotional telling me, "Finally, someone with power said what we've been feeling for decades." That video clip? 47 million views in 3 days across TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. But here's the part that really stung. Anwar didn't stop there. He pulled out Malaysia's human rights scorecard. Under his leadership, press freedom improved 23 points according to Reporters Without Borders. Malaysia now ranks higher than the US in media freedom. Religious tolerance? The Pew Research Center's 2024 study shows Malaysia scoring 8.2 out of 10 for religious harmony, while America dropped to 6.4. When a Muslim-majority country is more religiously tolerant than Christian America, that's a problem. The human trafficking report was the knockout punch. Malaysia moved from Tier 2 watchlist to Tier 1 in just 2 years. Meanwhile, the U.S. State Department's own data shows American trafficking cases increased 18% in the same period. Anwar's brutal question to the UN, who really needs lectures about human rights? But here's where it gets really uncomfortable for Americans. Silicon Valley monopolies might have met their match in an unexpected place. Malaysia's tech sector has grown 127% since Anwar took office, attracting $12.4 billion in investments. Lisa, a former Google employee now running a Malaysian AI startup, says, "The opportunities here are insane compared to San Francisco." The numbers don't lie. It costs $180,000 to hire a senior developer in Silicon Valley versus $45,000 in Kuala Lumpur for the same skill level. Malaysian universities are churning out 85,000 STEM graduates annually, while America faces a tech talent shortage. Anwar's vision? Making Malaysia the Silicon Valley of Southeast Asia. And it's working. TikTok just opened their $2.1 billion data center in Johor. Google's building a $3 billion cloud facility. Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, they're all there. But lower costs, strategic location, and a government that actually supports innovation instead of regulating it to death. While America debates TikTok bans, Malaysia is building the infrastructure to host the entire digital economy. The result? Malaysia's digital economy now contributes 25.5% to GDP, compared to America's 10.9%. A developing country is out-digitizing the country that invented the internet. But the most savage reply of all? It's about something every American family is struggling with right now. While Americans go bankrupt from medical bills, Malaysia offers world-class healthcare for 95% less. Heart surgery costs $200,000 in the US versus $8,000 in Malaysia, same quality according to WHO data from 2024. Robert, a retired teacher from Ohio, shared his story through tears. "I moved to Malaysia for my wife's cancer treatment. We're alive and debt-free. In America, we would have lost our house, our savings, everything." The medical tourism numbers are staggering. 1.3 million Americans traveled abroad for medical care in 2024. Guess which country was the top destination? Malaysia. Anwar's challenge to America was brutal. How can the richest country in the world let its people die from rationed insulin while spending trillions on weapons? Here's the uncomfortable math. America spends $816 billion on defense annually. Malaysia spends $4.2 billion and provides free healthcare to all citizens. American healthcare costs $4.3 trillion yearly and still leaves 28 million uninsured. The life expectancy comparison is devastating. Malaysian life expectancy, 76.4 years. American life expectancy, 76.1 years and falling. A developing country is literally keeping its people alive better than America. Malaysia is leading the renewable energy transition in Southeast Asia, 42% renewable by 2025. The US? Still stuck at 22% despite having 10 times the resources. Dr. Priya, a climate scientist studying both countries, told me something shocking. Malaysia reduced carbon emissions 35% in 5 years while growing their economy 67%. America increased emissions 3% in the same period despite all the climate promises. The renewable energy investment tells the story. Malaysia allocated 31% of their infrastructure budget to clean energy. America? Just 11%. While Americans debate the Green New Deal, Malaysia is actually building the Green New World. Solar energy costs in Malaysia, 3 cents per kilowatt hour. In America, 13 cents per kilowatt hour. Malaysian electric vehicle adoption rate, 47% growth annually. American EV growth, 31%. Anwar's mic drop moment about climate? Americans talk about saving the planet while we're actually doing it. We don't need your Paris agreements, we need results. The most brutal environmental stat? Malaysia planted 100 million trees in 2024. America cut down 15 million more than they planted. Who's really fighting climate change? But the ultimate controversy? Anwar said American democracy is performative theater, and the numbers prove he might be right. Malaysia voter turnout, 84%. US voter turnout, 66% in 2024. When Americans can't be bothered to vote, how can you call it democracy? Jake, a political science student from Michigan, admitted something painful. I'm American and I'm starting to think he's right. When did we stop caring about actually participating in our own government? The Corruption Perception Index is embarrassing. Malaysia ranks 61st globally, improving 16 spots since Anwar took office. America? Ranks 27th and falling. A former developing country is becoming less corrupt than the supposed beacon of democracy. But here's the stat that should terrify every American. 47 countries are now watching Malaysia's democratic experiment. Multi-ethnic, multi-religious, economically successful, diplomatically independent. It's everything America claims to be but struggles to achieve. Youth engagement in Malaysian politics. 78% of 18 to 25-year-olds actively participate in political discussions. In America? 34%. Malaysian trust in government institutions, 71%. American trust, 24%. The final humiliation? Malaysia's press freedom score improved 23 points under Anwar. America's score dropped 8 points under Biden. The student is becoming the teacher. So here's Anwar's ultimate savage reply that no American politician wants to hear. Democracy isn't about what you say, it's about what you deliver. And we're delivering. The global reaction has been unprecedented. European leaders are quietly visiting Malaysia to study their model. African nations are sending delegations. Even Canadian politicians are asking how Malaysia achieved what they couldn't. Video 3. China's response? They've tripled their investment in Malaysian infrastructure. Russia signed a $23 billion trade agreement. India moved their southeast Asian headquarters from Singapore to Kuala Lumpur. Meanwhile, American influence in the region continues to decline. The Philippines is reconsidering their U.S. bases. Thailand is strengthening ties with Beijing. Vietnam is buying Russian weapons instead of American ones. The most telling sign? Malaysia's diplomatic influence has grown 340% since Anwar became PM, according to the Lowy Institute's 2024 Asia Power Index. They're punching way above their weight and everyone's paying attention. So here's what I want to know, is Anwar Ibrahim the truth teller the world needs, or a dangerous challenger to Western values? And if you could, move to Malaysia tomorrow with all the benefits we just discussed, better healthcare, stronger economy, cleaner environment, and real democracy, would you? Because here's the thing that should really scare Washington: Malaysia isn't trying to be the next America. They're trying to be the first Malaysia. And they're succeeding. Drop a Malaysia if you think Anwar's right and America needs to wake up, or a United States if you think he's wrong and America's still the gold standard. Tell us why in the comments, because this debate is reshaping the entire global order. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'm bringing you fresh content every day that you won't want to miss. Turn on notifications to be the first to know when the next video drops.